This whole case is so gruesome and sad, not only because of the way Kelly Mays was murdered, but also because the identity of the man accused of stabbing her to death. On January 11th of 2024, cops arrived at an apartment complex in Westland, Michigan, a suburb of Detroit, and discovered a grisly, disturbing scene.
I saw her body on the floor.
A 49-year-old woman named Kelly Ann Mays, an activist and poet renowned for speaking out against domestic violence, was found dead on the floor of her apartment bedroom with multiple stab wounds and lacerations. Later that same day, the prime suspect behind Kelly Ann Mays' murder turned himself in and was charged with first-degree murder. That man was none other than Jimmie Lee Brown, better known as Supa Emcee, a renowned rapper who repped Detroit and Highland Park and has a decades-long career in music, as well as a tragic and complicated past. The news was incredibly shocking and sent a wave of confusion through the hip-hop community and had a lot of people asking, how the hell did this happen? For years, Supa Emcee was recognized as a local Detroit talent who could spit and hang with the very best. In fact, Supa Emcee had such a strong reputation back in the early 2000s that he was given a huge opportunity to be a part of Eminem's blockbuster autobiographical movie 8 Mile. During the making of the movie, multiple local artists were given a shot at battling Eminem on screen for the film's legendary climax. Y'all already know what scene I'm talking about. People still watch clips from that YouTube all the time. The chance to get on stage with the highest selling rapper in the game and trade bars to their face is an opportunity that you could not pass up. Naturally, Supa Emcee got picked to write rhymes and diss Eminem on camera. It's safe to say that he had one shot, one opportunity, and he took the moment and made it his own. Supa Emcee spit insult after insult. He compared himself to Darth Vader and M to Opie Taylor. He called M's mom a pro. He even capped the savagery off with an AIDS joke.
What up, Trailer Trash? Hey, yo, Future, how you get Whitey to battle the Savior? Yo, that's like Darth Vader battling Opie Taylor.
8 Mile went on to become a classic, opening to rave reviews, making nearly $250 million in global box office receipts, and even winning an Oscar. The problem? Supa Emcee's rap battle with Eminem never appeared in the movie. While the original plan was to include the battle footage, Supa Emcee's big moment ended up on the cutting room floor, but was later included on the DVD as an extra special feature. For his part though, Supa Emcee didn't seem super pressed about being cut from the movie. In a later interview, he professed his gratitude and respect to Eminem and agreed that the deleted scenes just wouldn't have flowed with the movie. He even shouted out the residual checks he received from the film, even though that he wasn't actually featured in the final cut. Even though Supa Emcee never got the kind of natural recognition he may have expected from 8 Mile, he was vocal about recognizing Highland Park as the heart of Detroit. Nearly 2 decades later, Supa Emcee's name would resurface again, this time in connection to a tragic accident that would change his life forever. In October of 2020, Supa Emcee was involved in a car crash that he had zero memory of. After a day-long coma, he woke up unable to remember what happened or who he even was. Suffering a severe brain injury, Jimmie Brown couldn't recognize himself or anyone in his family and struggled to piece together his life for years. But out of this tragedy, Supa Emcee claimed that he gained a closer connection to God, a new lease on life, and a new direction for his music. After going for years as Supa Emcee the Immortal, Jimmie Brown swapped his rap name for Supa Emcee Obsidian, the Fallen One, to reflect his debilitating struggles with amnesia.
One aura appeared, then another one. God is what brought me back here. God is what healed me up.
Jimmie Brown's story of losing memory and rebuilding his passion for music got attention from local news. A lot of people were impressed by how crazy his comeback story was and how he managed to find a silver lining after going through something so traumatic. What people didn't know is that Supa Emcee's inspirational story masked a dark secret and a vicious cycle of abuse. For 13 years, Jimmie Brown had an on and off relationship with his wife, Kelly Mays. Kelly's children even said they looked up to Jimmie as a father figure. It's fair to say that Kelly was a huge part of Jimmie's life. When he gave an interview where he spoke about coming out of his coma, he mentioned how stunned he was by his wife's beauty, even though he didn't remember who she was. That's wicked. Just like Supa Emcee, Kelly Mays had an important reputation in her city. Kelly was a survivor of domestic violence and was an outspoken advocate on behalf of women trapped in abusive relationships. She appeared on the news to talk about how she'd been attacked and hospitalized during a previous relationship and dedicated her life and career to helping others. Not only that, but Kelly Mays was also recognized as a spoken word artist and poet who performed her work across the country. Celeste Mays, Kelly's daughter, says that she had seen her mom and Jimmie Brown involved in arguments and fights, but they would always de-escalate. Still, Celeste says she and her sister begged Kelly to leave Jimmie because their relationship wasn't always the healthiest. But nothing could prepare for the awful scene she walked into on January 11th. At that point, Kelly Mays and Jimmie Brown had been separated, but they still kept in touch. But when Kelly's daughter walked into the apartment that she shared with her mom, she said that she felt something was wrong. When she walked into the bedroom, she found her mom's cold body. She had been 17 times. 17 is wild. As soon as she realized what happened, Kelly's daughter called the police. The second call she made was to Jimmie Brown, but he didn't pick up. Hours later, Jimmie Brown was arrested and charged with murder in the first degree and denied bail. The news of Kelly Mays' murder led to an outpouring of grief throughout the Detroit community. Domestic violence organizations that worked with her spotlighted how tireless and committed she was to advocating for survivors. The CEO of Haven, a nonprofit organization that's committed to helping domestic violence survivors and had worked closely with Kelly, eulogized her and spoke about how much of a positive effect she had on people.
She's an advocate that is going to be missed by multiple advocacy agencies in the state.
And for people who were familiar with Kelly Mays and Jimmie Brown's relationship, they were absolutely shocked and devastated. Kelly's dad, a retired police officer, couldn't help but talk about how beloved his daughter was, even by the man accused of murdering her.
It's tough. You know, that's my baby, you know, that's my baby girl.
And Kelly's daughter, Celeste, spoke about how she never expected Jimmie to act so violently and explosively. In the aftermath of Supa Emcee's arrest, the community is definitely still picking up the pieces and figuring out where to go next. During an interview, Celeste Mays says she's now responsible for taking care of her 14-year-old little sister.
I take care, look after my sister now, who's 14, with my grandma. So it's been like hard.
Did you see it coming? Did they have that kind of explosive relationship or anything?
Not that, no.
She renounced her relationship with Jimmie Brown after looking up to him as a role model. She says that he's no father of mine. Meanwhile, Supa Emcee was denied bond and remains in custody forever. It's still early to tell how the case against Supa Emcee will shape up. It's very, very likely that if he's convicted, he might be sentenced to life in prison. If he pleads not guilty, it's not hard to imagine his lawyers will bring up his traumatic car crash brain injury as grounds for his defense. While we don't have any clear answers about what happened that day, scientists have spoken for years about how brain trauma or diseases like CTE can lead to unexpected bouts of violence. From what we can tell, Supa Emcee was still dealing with the years-long fallout of his amnesia. What if the trauma played a role in what happened on January 11th? Is it possible that his brain injuries led him to do something so horrific? Or could Kelly Mays' murder be a part of the same cycle of violence that she dedicated her life to speaking out about? We're just gonna have to keep a close eye on this case and see how it develops. And hopefully, for the sake of grieving friends and family, we get some answers.